Well, welcome to Chatt It Up. We're super excited to be back. This is a full house tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And, man, we haven't been together in a while, right? It's been some time. And we got a special guest with us today. We have the former meteorologist. That's a mouthful, I feel like, in a lot of ways.
Try spelling it.
Meteorologist. Former weatherman of
go.
Channel 12 and Channel 9 and the current communications and marketing director of the Parks and Outdoor Department of the City of Chattanooga, Mr. Brian Smith. Can we get 3 claps one time?
Welcome in, Brian.
I love that. So that's a very unique clap, and I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And enjoy being here, enjoy the city, and enjoy hanging out with you guys tonight.
Well, we love having you, man. And like I said, so a little bit about the boys here is that we're a kind of a talk show host for the city in a lot of ways, we feel like. And so we focus on sports, but we love to have folks like you come in and really share about where we live, and because it's so cool and there's so many cool things happening, and you are right in the thick of a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it. So
proud to be so. It's a great city, and even in our department, I mean, the amount of sports that we have just in our department alone too is fascinating. So it's more than just parks, more than just some cool places to go, but man, the impact that we have in sports here too.
We will talk about some sports as this conversation progresses. You went to
Sweet.
Mississippi State. You got the colors on, I see, with the polo.
Yeah.
So like you're ready. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but I like it and I appreciate it. So you mentioned Chattanooga and being here and whatnot and loving the city. So first and foremost, right off the top, what has drawn you to the city of Chattanooga and what's kept you here?
Absolutely. So I grew up in Mississippi. I'm an Eagle Scout, and when we were in the Boy Scouts, we always came to Chattanooga to see Rock City, to raft the Ocoee River and the Hiawassee, and didn't have those opportunities in Mississippi, so came here. And I was always fascinated coming down, 24, coming up 59, seeing some of those rocks for the first time, and that just drew me. And even though the mountains here are not the biggest, it was just fascinating to me. And then as the city started getting bigger, and then the aquarium came, this was still kind of like the trip destination.
Yeah.
So when I went to college, Mississippi State, and got a degree in meteorology, I thought, well, one day I want to actually do some broadcasting in Chattanooga. I think that'd be kind of cool. And honestly, I left school, went to Minnesota for a couple of years, my first job, and then came to Chattanooga after that. And, most TV people in this area kind of have that 2 to 3 year plan. I'm going to go there. I'm going to hang out for a little bit.
Stepping stone.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone, and make my way up to Nashville or something like that. But even though I had offers other places, I loved it here.
Yeah.
And because it's just enough outdoors that I love the nature, love the weather down here as well. I mean, all aspects of it. And then the amount of things that you can do in the size of the town that it is. It's not too big. And then you just drop a pin and say within 30 miles of here, the amount of things that are ongoing, from the waterfalls to the rafting to I can go raft to the Ocoee, then come down to the Tivoli and enjoy a nice show or something, just all within, an hour. And when I had offers to leave, I said, no, I love it here. The city's growing. It's, changing for the good. And then had my daughter and living that life all over again vicariously through her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm starstruck, man, to be honest with you. So growing up, your job, I wanted to be a meteorologist. Like, I wanted to be the weatherman so bad. So to be chopping it up with the weatherman is surreal. Can you talk to me, just, have you in your career, when it comes to chasing storms and being actually in it, walk us and our listeners through how did that feel, that moment?
So to be honest, I was a professional storm chaser for 2 years as well. So
That's so badass.
Amazing. Wow.
So in my college years, so a couple of years we went out the summer, and one was supported by the college and a couple of sponsors, and the second year was a bigger sponsor and doing some research and things as well. But it's not quite like the movie Twister or Twisters.
But let's say, it's Bill Paxton. Is that Brian Smith right now?
You know what? We all watched that, researched that, and said, you know what? We're going to drop some sand in the air and see if that actually works. It doesn't. You have to use radars, but nevertheless, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I'll be honest. So going out there and chasing, especially out in the Midwest, you don't have any obstacles. There's no trees. There's nothing in the way. And you get to see the full magnitude of that storm from 30 miles away, where you're seeing the storms developing and the anvil spreading out, to as it gets closer to you, building and building and building. and all aspects of that. And when you're doing some chasing too, they kind of teach you, make sure you got ways to get out and direction, looking at the maps, and you are chasing, and sometimes it's chasing you as well. But to see some of the lightning bolts, to see the storm grow from nothing to something massive, and then to see large hail. I mean, we had softball-sized hail hitting our van and busting out our windows, and then seeing some of the tornadoes. Now, a couple tornadoes that we did see, we got pretty close and probably a little too close on one of them, and it's magical what you see. And then the other side of it too is the destruction that it does leave. And we got into some places. One would be the 1999 Moore, Oklahoma tornado, one of the strongest tornadoes ever, if not the strongest tornado ever, at 300 some odd miles an hour. Saw that way off in the distance, and then getting into town and seeing the destruction of what it does. And that's the sad part of it too. So for a lot of us that are those adrenaline junkies, whoa, tornado. And then you see the destruction, and you're like, man, this is what this little thing, little compared to the rest of the world, does. It makes you want to, as I got into my career, save lives, let people know that this is real. This is things that are actually coming. This is what can possibly happen. This is why we're not screaming wolf up there, that this is something that's a reality. And we have those tornadoes around here, so chasing those exciting, but seeing what it does as well, it sinks in, and you realize Mother Nature is powerful. And I always kind of say human nature will make us build it. Mother Nature can make us regret it.
And that one in Oklahoma was the strongest tornado ever. I just looked it up in 99.
Like 319 miles per hour, I believe, or 18 miles per hour.
It was, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
321 miles per hour.
321.
Yes. You're very close.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's 99, yeah.
So you'd have to have quite a mixtape, like, to be a storm chaser, because like you just said, you're going probably from like Guns N' Roses to like a very sad like Celine Dion song.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I feel like you need you have a really curated mixtape here to go do this.
Well, like in the movie Twister, especially the original one, they've got all the music playing. You see the scenes as they're just cycling through all the different people that are in it. And yes, we would have that too. We'd pop in our CD, and Thunderstruck would be popping up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And a highway through the danger zone, all that kind of stuff is popping up, because you're just like, we're getting closer and you're getting closer. And then there's times you get closer, and then you're like, oh crap, too close.
This might be a little close.
Yeah. Turn around.
Exactly. And so, and I always tell people it's been fun, and being trained on what to do and how to get out, because there's a lot of people out there storm chasing too that just have no idea what they're doing.
No, I wouldn't. I would be a guy in a car.
Yeah.
With a video camera, with an iPhone 14. Not even the most recent, just the 14.
Just a 14.
We had to rely on ham radios back then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it'd probably be a little easier to do this whole thing now. But going from being a meteorologist at News Channel 9 and 12, like Garrett said, to now joining the Parks and Outdoors department, what's been sort of the biggest challenge going from that world to now this world?
Mayor Kelly called me back, and he was like, what can you do in the department too? Is how can you help and let people know what is going on in the city of Chattanooga? And I don't look at it as a, hey, here's our next event or whatnot. I look at it as a challenge of letting people know what kind of assets they have here in the city. Where can you go? Not everybody can travel to the Smoky Mountains. Not everybody can travel to the Coe River. But if I want to go kayak and I want to do some pretty cool things, what is there around here in Chattanooga that you can do? So education was a big thing. This is a huge department. We have, not only are we dealing with the parks here, but it's public art Chattanooga. It's all of our special events, whether it's the New Year's Eve celebration or Pops on the River that we just had with the fireworks. It's all part of the same division, Outdoor Chattanooga, that teaches you how to kayak and so forth. And of course, our recreation department that ranks in about $32 million economic benefit every single year with softball and programs.
Yeah.
So educating people that, and then coming from media, knowing how that works, how that sort of medium can get the word out. I'm doing it sort of in a reverse way. It's not me telling everybody about the weather and what's coming up. It's letting people know about what's cool and what's great about the things that we have here in Chattanooga. And on top of that, Americans, we like to complain a lot, and we will go on and we'll complain about everything. But, here's an opportunity to say, well, here's some great things that's going on. And is our department perfect? And is every park out there absolutely wonderful? No, but there's things that we need to work on, but getting people to appreciate what we have, and then how can we move on to the next park to make that better? Because everybody that's in this city deserves quality parks, recreation opportunities, to understand the art that we have. It's an amazing amount of 180 some odd pieces of art that we have here in Chattanooga that's public. Anybody can walk up and see and learn about it. So that challenge has been getting that information out, and I've happily accepted it, and we'll keep working at it.
Brian, I think with your position specifically, and you touched on Mayor Kelly. I mean,
that's your boy.
That is my dog. Shout out Mayor Kelly if you're listening, baby.
Good old MTK.
Come on. No pressure, but you have a really, really important position in our city, specifically thinking about the growth of the next 5 years, right? Because you think about, obviously, tourism, you think about economic development, and Chattanooga and outdoors, and specifically you and what you can bring, is going to just bring a lot of juice to it. How do you feel about that challenge every day, knowing like, all right, like, hey, like it's not just me, but like so much of my team, like we have to provide this for what's not only Chattanooga today, but like the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're projected to be about a 300,000 population here in Chattanooga over the next several years.
Yeah.
We're growing rapidly. The stats that are out there about how many people move here, per month versus how many leave. Studies by UTC that say, why do you come here? It's low cost living, and then second, it's usually recreation and park amenities.
Literally.
We know why people are coming here, and we're going to grow. I don't want to be the person that comes in and says, we're never going to build anything again and save, all green spaces. In the dream world, it's not going to happen. We're going to grow. But let's ask the question, what if we get it right? What if we do grow, and if we build a new apartment complex downtown, that's great. But what about the access to the park that's across the street? Let's not put up the barriers. What about being able to travel around town, whether it's more on bicycles and skateboards and being able to walk? What can we do to make that better? Also, too, as we expand, one thing Chattanooga did is when we had Chattanooga at the beginning in the 1800s, early 1900s, anywhere from Missionary Ridge to downtown, there's quite a few parks. You get over Missionary Ridge, we forgot what a park was. We just built everywhere. And by the grace of some families, Greenway Farm exists because it was a donation from a family.
Yeah.
Heritage Park exists because it came from a family. There's just a couple pockets here, but there's not enough out there. So what if we get it right? What if we, as we continue to grow, we add a little bit more of that green space, that recreation opportunities? And that's what we're aiming for, to try to preserve some of the land that we have out there. The parks that we do have, making sure they're quality so that people want to go to them, and also keeping up with the times too. And, there's cities all around us that are competing and putting big parks everywhere. And this may sound negative, but lots of times, I won't name cities, but there are cities out there where the new parks are in the new rich areas because they have the money. Well, we're never going to turn down money. Don't get us wrong, because we want to build more parks, but we want to make sure we do it fairly. We want to make sure all neighborhoods. So, when we look at, do we want to build something like a Montague Park and redo it in that neighborhood that's growing? Yes, but we want to put the same amount of focus on Carver Park that's been, neglected for several years. What can we do to enhance it? Boulevard Park, we got a great donation from PlayCorps to put in a brand new playground. We could have put that anywhere, but we decided to take it to our worst rated park, Boulevard, right outside of Rossville, because dang it, those kids need a playground too, and they deserve a playground too. So we want to make sure we do that, and by showing overall, hopefully the public, and that's my job, that we care and we want to do these things. It's not just a bunch of middle-aged white guys making all the decisions in the world. We want to make sure that everyone has that fair chance, and that's, again, what if we do it right?
You're the man.
Yeah, that's
You're
cool.
the man.
Because like one of the big things, obviously, that hit the headlines in Chattanooga is this national park city.
Yeah.
What is that? I mean, what is it? What does it mean? How does that affect us?
Sure. So the name can be confusing because it came from overseas, so we can blame the Europeans for this.
From London, right?
Yeah, so London was the very first one. So just kind of break it down real quickly. Daniel Raven Ellison, who's a National Geographic explorer, you can go home and flip up, on Stream It, and you can see some of his things. What he would do is he would travel all across the world and go, look at these really cool places, and then come back home and go, my town of London's got pretty cool places too. What if we did some stories on that and the natural things that we have in town? And so he came up with the National Park City Foundation, and London was the first one. Adelaide, Australia became the next one, where we just had a major golf tournament. I think it was the, what is it now? The LIV,
LIV.
And they talked about all their parks and everything out there too. But in a nutshell, you think of the National Park Service that we have here in the United States. You think Grand Canyon, Yosemite, Yellowstone, the list goes on. But also the National Park Service is the MLK Monument. It is the National Mall. It's the National Seashore. It's Orchard Knob that's right over here down the road. It's Moccasin Bend. It's Chickamauga. And then you think, wow, the entire National Park system has all of that. And then the National Park City Foundation wanted to look at cities that said, what are these little micro areas that have all of those? Natural beauty, massive biodiversity, history, change from, bad to good, especially with, like here being the dirtiest city to where we are now. And there were about 20 different cities in the United States that applied for this. They looked at Chattanooga and said, my gosh, natural wonders that you have there. The biodiversity is one of the best in the world, especially the Appalachian region. History, I mean, that's a given. And the things that we have done from going from a highly industrial, dirty city to where we are now and embracing our culture, embracing the arts that we have here. Are we the best at it? No. The next phase is now getting this National Park City monument, this honor, and then building on that. Here's what we have done. These are the great things and the great organizations that we work with. To now, what is that next step? How can we make Chattanooga greener, wilder, and healthier from this point forward? So it is not just the city, it's several organizations. The aquarium's on board, Chattanooga Zoo, Reflection Riding, Crabtree, I can go, REI has been helping us out. I mean, the list just goes on because every one of these organizations is doing something good. And kind of to close it here at the end is, again, Americans, we like to complain. The city's not doing this, the water's this, litter's that, and it is. But we have a lot of great organizations that are fighting to change that. And I'll use the aquarium as an example. 98%, Tom will get on to me for this because I don't know the number, but 98% of the people go in there and go, wow, really cool fish, but have no idea that on the other side of the river, they are raising fish by the thousands and then dumping them back into our rivers to reintroduce some of the native fish to our area and some of the creeks. And it's like, wow, Chattanooga's doing that. So if we can go to one place and says National Park City, someone goes, what the heck is that, as Garrett just mentioned? Yeah. And someone looks at it and goes, holy crap, I didn't realize this little town of Chattanooga is doing all this to keep it wild, healthy, and green.
Yeah. And so, I mean, did we, as a city, are we doing additional things to make sure that we get this designation?
So as a city's point of view, yes, there are some things that, we're putting a lot more emphasis back in the parks now. Our budgets, without raising any taxes and stuff, our budgets have been about the same, but now we're putting about $19 million extra capital into enhancing our parks. And some of that is fixing the gutters. As my boss says, it's not the sexy stuff, but you got to fix gutters and you got to fix water fountains because people are not going to use it. But then also investing in places like reimagining Carver Park or Montague Park or, maybe enhancing new parks. And then some of the preserves like the Shallowford Oxbow that we just preserved a couple of weeks ago. While it's not open to public just yet, it's preventing that. We put rules on ourselves. We put covenants on the city that says if we were to ever build on that, we're penalizing ourselves for that. So it's never going to be built. Lupton Mill's site last month was a dirty, contaminated site from an old mill there. Now it's a nice growing meadow that's got trails through that. It's not, and what kind of future plans may come of that, of a new park. So, and then the Brainerd Levee. Brainerd Levee between Sargoonies and Shallowford Road is a levee built there to keep Boyd Buchanan and Brainerd High School from flooding. Well, it's more than that. Now that it's developed to one of the hot spots across the entire Southeast for bird watching. You go down there and there's people from Colorado and Florida, and they got these big telescopes that are coming here to watch the some 72 different species of birds there. So what does the city do to help in this initiative? Quit mowing the grass out there because the birds need a place to live and they're nesting. And so we put a no-mow program on. And then one thing that we've been trying to do, and it's a work in progress, is like all of our medians. A lot of them look overgrown, but the reason is that we put different grasses in there so that we can stop mowing and polluting everything and hearing while you're working every day. And so these will become native meadows that are within a lot of our medians downtown. So it's those little things. And then, I use another example. Grace Episcopal Church has a community garden in their backyard where they are growing, and some of the church members come and they use it for themselves and then give some of that to their neighbors. What if 5% of the churches in Chattanooga did something similar. I say 5% because, we have, I don't know, 800 churches here in
Yeah,
Chattanooga,
tons.
or the South. So, it's those little things that make a national park city, and that movement can help to that movement.
So in order to become a national park city, I was reading up on this. I think Chattanooga's charter must receive a minimum of 5,000 signatures. Is that true?
That's true. We're at 3,600 right
I was
now.
going to say, when I signed it, y'all were at 31. Now we're up to 36. And if you want to do that, please feel free to go on ChattanoogaNationalParkCity.org and make sure you sign up for that. That's huge. Is that all we need to do? Or are we like competing with other cities that are up for this as well?
So there are 5 cities right now. We're the only one in North America that was nominated.
Okay.
So, but there are some other cities out there that'll be on our tail ends. I'll throw out a couple like Sacramento, Louisville, Albuquerque. Those are some other ones that have been looking at this. But right now, they're looking at us to be that example. And then we have other cities across the world. Breda, that's in the Netherlands. They're probably going to get it here in just a few weeks. Amsterdam's another one. There's Rotterdam, not Amsterdam, but Rotterdam. A couple more. You're going to catch me off guard here, but there's a few more that are out there, and we're worried about ourselves. But
Yeah.
that will get it. And the goal is to have 25 cities here over the next maybe 4 or 5 years, because they started this right around just before COVID hit. So it's like, great idea. And then COVID. But and we want to be that shining beacon. So the next phase here, we got updates to the website coming, sharing more of the stories of some of the organizations and people that are doing this. Because if there's just a story of Bob that has a massive butterfly garden in his backyard, I want to hear from him and see what he's doing, what makes his backyard special, and how can Jane that's down the road listen to that and go, I want to do that. So sharing some of those ideas. So the next thing is we've got committees that are formed that have some leaders in that folks can jump on and say, I'd love to be a part of this. I would like to find better ways to create more access to food. I like better ways to, more access to nature, whether that's individuals with all abilities or finding ways to create more blueways in Chattanooga. So these little committees are forming because in the end, one thing that we also do, especially in local government, is we have 4 or 5 people that will go fight for that cause, and it's only 4 or 5 people. But what if there's something that says, I'll give the example, right now we cannot have our yard have native plants in it, like half of the yard be native plants. It's against code violations. So what if this National Park City movement, and there were a couple hundred people that said, I would love to do that, but go to city council, and they were like, okay, these people these people are serious. Mean business here. And then it changes some of those. But this is not to change codes. It's not to raise taxes. It's not to have federal oversight or anything like that. This is just sharing stories and ideas and making Chattanooga a better place. Because, to kind of go back to the original question, we're going to grow.
Yeah.
And, real quickly, we have Heritage Park and Heritage Landing? No, Heritage. I can't think of the. I'm sorry. But anyway, so we have Heritage Park and a massive neighborhood that's being built behind it, and that massive neighborhood's going to build. People are going to live there. But what he did is he said, I don't want people having to drive all the way around to come to the park and flood your parking lot. Can we build trails from my neighborhood to Heritage Park so that people can have the trails and walk and not have to drive? And that's just a great little partnership that says, you know what? He wasn't going to develop that part of land. He's going to make trails. And, that's great. That's a win.
That's so cool. I could ask you like 10 million questions, so y'all got to stop me.
Okay, I didn't.
I just asked the last one, so
okay,
you got it.
But it's complete. But it's not flowing with the program.
What are you
it's
gonna
completely.
ask?
Well, 2 things.
Did you sign up yet?
No.
Oh, well.
So I just lost my right to ask.
I signed up while he was talking, so
Okay.
maybe I get to ask those questions.
So Garrett gets a shirt.
I get the first shirt.
I already signed up. What do you mean?
And then we got the other
I was
shirt.
gonna say,
Man,
come on
let's
now.
go. With swag.
Yeah.
Y'all check them
Swag.
out, man. Throw them up.
Yeah.
Bro.
Look at this.
Chattanooga Park City. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Right
National Park
See, I signed
City.
up. It's like it took 2 clicks.
If you sign up now, I'll give you a sticker.
Oh, well, I got to get on my phone.
I
and
was
do
like,
it.
I signed up like a week ago. Dang.
I was Googling over here one of my favorite parks, Sculpture Fields.
Yeah, Montague.
So, hypothetically, I'm a huge music person. Every time I'm out there, I always think, could a music festival work out here?
Why not?
Like, what would that look like? Because I just think with the really cool abstract art, and like I just see the vision, and I'm just like, from you being the source, like, does that. Like I see like a Bonnaroo. I don't think it's going to be on that scale, but like it just looks aesthetically like Chattanooga would be the perfect location for like a major festival in that space.
In the sculpture garden?
Yes.
Okay.
So I will take it one step further and have you do something else on Google, and that would be looking up reimagining Montague Park.
Okay.
And seeing what we're trying to do there. So the sculpture fields, they're going to stay. That was John Henry's wish, and we're going to, enhance that. On the other side of the park is Chattanooga Football Club Foundation. They're building new fields. We're having a groundbreaking for their first new field this Wednesday night. And then in the middle is a bunch of nothing. So we're trying to compete, put that all together into one absolutely beautiful park that's going to be able to host a massive farmers market on the front, because that's what people wanted as well. It's going to join sports because those fields will be multi-use sports, and then art. So you're waiting for that next game to start. You venture over and explore art for the very first time. You're waiting for, you're exploring art and have no idea about soccer. Go watch a game. In the meantime, you're visiting the front porch, as we call it. And then on top of that, creating ways to have music venues, because gosh darn it, not everything has to be downtown.
No.
I agree.
And there's a lot of great places that are around, whether it's Greenway Farm or something like a Montague Park, to where we can come out and have a great festival. Oh, what about parking? Well, that's what they make buses for. That's what they make greenways for.
Uber.
Ubers, ride shares and all that. That's out there too. And make it so that people can come and enjoy a place like that. So they've got sculpture burns. They have the kite flying contest and things that are going on out there too. But why not have a nice, beautiful backdrop of the big art sculptures? I don't know the names of them all, but out there. But we need to build that infrastructure to be able to have ways to get power and some of that infrastructure out there to do this. And that part of that vision plan is doing that. What is that next step? And, we've looked at saying, Piedmont Park with what they have down in Atlanta.
I was just there.
Yeah, they get the amphitheaters and stuff. Well, why not bring that here? Why not have something like that here? And again, doesn't have to be downtown. It could be someplace else in one of our beautiful green spaces.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
You said you got 2 questions?
Yeah, you
I
said you got
did,
2.
but the other one, I mean, it's more so personal.
Okay.
Let's
So
get personal.
my uncle was a deputy sheriff here, and I am curious. He said that a park is named after him, and I'm not sure if that's true. I'm going to be honest.
What was his name?
His name is Ezra Harris. Is there a Harris Park
Is
near
there a
Carr Street?
Harris Johnson Park? 'Cause
Yeah.
we have Harris and then Dash Johnson.
Yeah.
It's right across the street from Howard High
From
School.
Howard, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'll
So
say
it's-
So is that your uncle?
yeah, I mean, it's my uncle. I'm just trying to fact check, to be honest.
I mean, are you, or he's just flexing? Like, what's up?
yeah.
I'm trying to fact check.
So,
Put him on the spot.
everyone else is going to be fact checking me as well, but I believe Johnson's side of it was a teacher
Okay.
at Howard High School for a long time.
Okay.
I don't have all my info in front of me, so you're putting me on the spot.
I'm sorry. That's why I was like, it's personal, so we
Harris
could have.
part,
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. So I'm going to ask him again when I see him.
but I have to go back and look.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had a study with UTC a couple years ago too. Then went around and tried to figure out what some of these park names are. Like Carver Park, is it actually legit named after Washington Carver? Yes, it is.
That's crazy.
And so yeah, I'll have to go back and look.
Well,
that
now
up.
that you know me,
got me puzzled.
we're gonna have to shoot each other a text and be like, yeah, he's not lying, he's telling the truth.
It is named after 2 different people. I know one of them's the teacher. So
Because my
Could be.
dad, I swear, he's like, yeah, it is, and I'm like, bro, there's just no way. Like what?
Why?
Like,
Why is there no way?
I mean, it's possible. It's very possible. I'm excited though to be like, tied to that if it is true.
As MJ once said, impossible is nothing.
Nothing's impossible.
that's
That was KG.
I feel like a lot of people have said that over the years. Like anything's possible with with Jesus kind of thing. I feel like that's yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that quote's been said in different forms for a long time.
You are a special guy, and I cannot do this without you.
No, this side of the table always. We'll get a Miggy Park one day, and we got Brian here to help us get a Miggy Park.
we could do that.
Yeah,
That would be amazing.
dude, I want to in the middle of the Tennessee River.
We have more parks to build. We have more places to go. So
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, the big boy slide. Yeah, you need the
We
big
need
boy
the
slide.
big boy slide, the big boy
Plus size slide.
The,
Of course,
the-
that all comes after the big sign that says "Welcome to Bryan Park." I'm just saying.
You know,
Facts.
Brian
right.
Park would be wild. You
Yeah.
know, he's got all the inside like knowledge of like, okay, these are the codes and whatnot. Like if we did a park off,
Yeah, Bryan Park, and then we have Miggy Slide,
Yeah.
Garrett something or other.
Garrett's Grove, what's good?
Yeah, Garrett's Grove.
But every single playground equipment would be made like after something of weather, like a lightning bolt slide and the
Oh, he's
twister.
thought about
Yeah,
this.
there
He's
we
thought
go.
about this.
It's not the first time.
I'm going total nerd on you here. So.
So, well, Brian, listen, we've learned a lot about what you do, but as great as all that is, one of the most important things that we care about is your sports takes. So we had a lot of some big sports news drop this morning, and we had the AP Top 25 college football just finally drop. And boys, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna give Brian a little bit of what Chatt It Up's all about, and how we debate. And so I think Joseph, where's he at? So he had a whole segment on this, and so what do we how do we want to approach this, guys?
Well, can I continue on with I have some more park questions. Yeah. Yeah, can we do some more park stuff?
I mean,
Yeah, I'm not in a rush. I was just I don't know. I was just
I got time.
Oh,
if you
Brian's got time.
we-
All
all
right.
right, hey, we'll just cut that out. And then
We all know we all know who number one is right now. So you
That's
know,
right.
But
University of Tennessee, man.
all right,
no,
here we
they will become number one when they beat number one, the Bulldogs.
okay. See,
Oh.
I like them.
see, this is what I'm talking about.
I like 'em.
Okay, go get your
Yeah.
get your park questions out of the way. 'Cause
Well, we need Joseph to come back. You know, he's a big Georgia boy, so.
Yeah, no one's perfect.
No,
As I
that's right.
mentioned
Nobody's
earlier.
perfect. That's right. Being a Bears fan, for sure, you know that.
Ooh.
That didn't last long.
All right, so I was going to ask just quickly about, in terms of, you being the communications and marketing director, I'm sure you guys use a lot of social media in terms of getting stuff, what you guys are doing out there amongst the city and the parks and things like that. Talk to me a little bit about how you guys have incorporated the use of social media and what you guys do in the plan that you've rolled out and telling people and letting people know in a fun and informative way on social media.
Lots of dad jokes.
I love that. Can't go wrong with
Love
that.
a good dad joke.
Couple of new dads coming up here.
There you go. So
Yeah.
believe it or not, and this will toot my own horn here, but based on just letting everybody know what's going on, having some fun with it, sharing great pictures, getting people involved. Last year, we became the number 2 social media page and pages. That's Facebook, Instagram. I don't use X as much as anymore, but number 2 in the entire United States.
Wow.
That
Big
is
time.
beating.
3 claps one time. Wow. Big time.
Thanks. That's
That's
beating
huge.
New York City. That's not per capita. That is literally beating New York City, beating LA. The number 1, Cleveland, Ohio.
What the hell?
I'm like Cleveland,
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland.
Yeah. So I was going to launch a campaign like Cleveland sucks. Figured MTK wouldn't like that. But
Yeah, probably not.
but and we grew just in 1 year 25,000 followers on the Facebook and 10 whatever on Instagram. I'm kind of switching now to try to grow more there. Chattanooga Parks and Outdoors too, if you want to do a search for social media. But and they're like, Brian, come teach classes or whatnot. And I'm like, I'm a nearly 50-year-old dude running, social media. What am I going to go teach? And, yay, I use CapCut. Yeah.
Sound like Garrett. He
Shout
gets
out
really
to
excited
CapCut.
about
hey, baby, hey,
CapCut.
CapCut saves me all the time.
We
Yeah.
love
Yep.
CapCut here.
Yep.
But
So,
it was just showing people things that we're doing and having fun with it. And then, as I told Mary Kelly too, I was like, I'm going to kind of push the envelope a little bit. And then also too, making fun of ourselves. Government's slow. We can't do all of it. There's some things that are, we need to address. And someone's like, hey, we really need a new skate park. Yeah, we do. It's, and kind of having fun with people and that overall engagement, because in the end, especially with the parks and the recreation side of things that I do, we're the joy department. Gosh darn it, if the government has a little bit of fun with it. So
You gotta have fun.
Yeah, and that's, and answering people, being open to people, being honest with people, that engagement, that's a big thing, because people just want answers. And
Yeah.
if I'm sitting in my recliner sometimes at night at 9 o'clock answering a Facebook message, wanting to know, is the fountains going to be on at Coolidge Park this weekend? It's okay to take 30 seconds to do that. And shout out to my wife for allowing me to do that. But that's how I've been able to build that. And that's, number one thing people wanted when I came in from a department that wasn't even there. We went 8 years without even having a department.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to start all that over again. And it's just showing people having fun, because what's more addictive than having fun?
I love what you just said about it being the joy department.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, what's not better than taking a walk in the park, going jumping in the pool, seeing your kid play, and giving those opportunities to kids to go play free baseball, to go join a basketball team. We had 30,000 people at Warner Park Pool. Pools are closing left and right, and with lifeguard shortages and everything, but people are wanting to come to Warner Park Pool, and 30,000 people there. It's amazing.
Wow.
So the demand is still there, and all I do is show it, and then every now and then applaud the people that bring these nice places and facilities to the general public.
Oh yeah.
Somebody the other day was like, "How come you took pictures of a custodian?" And I'm like, "Why not? They've got one of the hardest jobs out there, and by golly, they make our places look nice. Why not?"
Heck yeah.
Damn right.
And I think that's what a lot of people fear is, like, with preservation comes the perception of limiting growth. A lot of people in Chattanooga, they think like, okay, yeah, for us to be a city that matters, we have to build the next big headquarters here, or XYZ. But like the cool thing is, like, we are the gig city, right? I mean, so we're literally the perfect town for, hey, you don't have to put a big plopping building somewhere to do your job, or to like bring people to this town. And so you can highlight, it's a very unique city because you can highlight those natural sides of thing without having to limit growth because of how it's set up. I don't know, that's interesting.
And like I said, we're gonna grow. We're not here to prevent and say, no, you can't put another apartment complex there or this or that. And that's not the business that we are in. But as we do grow, can we do it in a way to where if we do build a complex downtown, then we throw in a few more trees and make it accessible for the people that live in that complex to get over to the next nearest park. One that's gotten a little bit of controversy here recently, Ross's Landing, redesigning it. Beautiful park, great venue for concerts. So if you can go there.
100%.
Yeah. The other 300 days of the year, what are you going to do out there?
It's a fair point.
So why not make a park to where everyone can go down there every day, whether it's tourists or you're just bringing your family down there? And it's not quite that way. You could still do some things down there, but the biggest request is like shades. Can we have some seating out there so that I can go get something from Clumpy's and then the one of the restaurants and go down there and sit? And can we make it to where it's more watercraft is active down there, not boats, but paddlecraft, and have a place to put in down there? Can we make a better playground that's maybe a little bit more interactive and showcases what we do? So you're seeing riverfronts do that. At the same time, things are going to build around us, but as we build, those people will have access to this park as well. And humanizing our parks is what we call it.
Is it weird of me that I aesthetically love how empty it is, like the green? Is that weird?
No, people like that too.
I just love seeing it just like a soccer ball or a kite.
Yeah.
Or just, throwing a football. I just don't like the clutter. Like, I love how empty it is.
So there'll be places on that. So towards the top of it, we'll have kind of like a big pavilion, massive, really awesome looking pavilion for the shade and some concerts that way too. And then, there's still gonna be a lot of places that are left open. The slant that's right behind the Tennessee Aquarium, probably add a few more trees there, maybe some artwork. And then further on down by where the Southern Bell is proposed now for a Veterans Memorial down there, because it's just kind of a dead, empty space that's not really big enough to do sports and have fun, but it's a place that we can redesign and redo. And also too, lots of times when we build parks, and Montague is another example too, there's like 1,800 trees that could be put there, and immediately people are like, well, I won't be able to fly my kite out there, I won't be able to do this anymore. It's where you put some of these things. We're not just going to coat the whole entire thing and go, hey, it's now a new forest.
Yeah.
It's strategically putting things in certain spots, and those are designers that make a lot more money than I do to do that, so that your family can enjoy the shade while you're out there with your kids playing soccer. So can do the bit of both that's out there.
That's very, very nifty.
That is always good.
That is my big sell right there.
Nice. I love it. Another thing that I came across in some of the research on you and Chattanooga Parks and things like that is building up more inclusive parks, inclusive play parks. Can you talk a little bit more about that and what that entails?
Absolutely. So another dream is from this point on, every playground that's going to be installed is now ADA accessible or fully inclusive playgrounds, because again, there should not be a barrier for anyone that wants to go and play at a playground. You know how many times that you'll hear of those stories. All the kids are running around climbing everywhere, and then might be a child there just doesn't have that ability. And that stinks,
Yeah.
and I grew up with a disability. I know kind of how some of that is. So that's been a concerted effort. One thing is those playgrounds are super expensive to do those. So we've been able to have wonderful groups that have been able to gather grants as well as raising their own funds. And one of those is Riverview Park. We're going to be opening that up hopefully next week, actually, which will be the largest ADA fully inclusive playground. The one we installed at Boulevard is an inclusive playground as well, not nearly as big, but nevertheless, the one that's coming to Washington Hills. We just did a little engagement with some of the youth at Washington Hills today because, by golly, what happens if kids pick their playgrounds? Novel idea.
Yeah.
So we did that today with several of the kids. And so, from this point on, it's access. It goes back to National Park City. It goes back to our philosophy. It's access to recreation and nature. So providing them all abilities to be able to have places to go play. Programs. We have a therapeutic recreation program that utilizes all kinds of different ways to do rock. I mean, they look at Outdoor Chattanooga and go, rock climbing? Okay, we'll do that too. May have to use different ways of doing it or different sort of setups, but by golly, we're going to do that. So they're doing rock climbing down at High Point and Sunset. Canoeing and kayaking, fine, great. We're going to go do that as well. And we've got ways that we're working with Spark, which is another organization that helps us. Veterans that have PTSD and need to get away, what are the programs out there for them? So yes, and we do canoeing and kayaking and hiking and the whole gamut. Wheelchair basketball, we'll be starting that up here soon too. So given that ability and the fact that the city is able to do that, that's great. And again, my job goes back to showing that we do that. And that maybe there are businesses and individuals that say, I want to be a part of this and help do this as well. And maybe start, donating or, working with businesses to help sponsor. And that's how we do get a lot of our parks. We have very low taxes here in Chattanooga, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And we wish we could build $1 million parks everywhere, but it doesn't quite happen that way. So there have been great companies that have stepped up, great grants that have helped out as well. And then right there at Warner Park, we've got Miracle Field, which was a massive donation and support by the Rotary Club. And the list goes on. So, but that's a commitment to is being inclusive, and then, equity and equality and all that goes into our overall plan that we have, which we released last year. It's our Parks and Outdoors plan, making sure that as we build forward, we're keeping everybody in mind.
That's awesome. I love that.
It's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's got to be.
I think about how polarizing this table is, nevertheless, an entire city, So, I mean, seriously. So, I mean, to take into account everybody, I mean, it's really a dichotomy you're trying to get through.
And you're seeing a lot more of that too. And we've got a national spokesperson, Cecil, that lives right down in Rossville, that's always taking pictures and going to various parks there too. And I just remember him kind of talking to us at one of the speeches as well. And it's not always just building the next big thing and making it to where it's completely easy. It's also having the programs that can show those that might be in a wheelchair bound or, might have different ailments that they can do this as well. We just kind of help along the way, building a trail a little bit wider. Could that make that big of a difference? If our therapeutic recreation had wheelchairs that can go off-roading, and we do, and it's things like that we do. It's not changing the entire trail and tearing down a bunch of woods to do it. It's now getting a wheelchair that can go off-roading, which sounds fun as all get out.
It's amazing.
And be able to do that. And you're seeing state parks do the same thing too.
Shoot. Anybody else got any park questions?
I mean, my last one, Brian, where does this passion come from about park? You've been able to carry news and media for the better half of the last decade. I mean, it was just you and then kind of everybody else. You can be humble. I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm gonna talk for you. You were like that. You were that guy in a bag of chips. Where does this passion and where does it come from? It's just it's a seamless transition for you.
Probably if I go back to the disability that I grew up with is I had polio when I was a baby. And back then, there's a lot of struggles, things I couldn't do. I wasn't ever supposed to walk and all that kind of good stuff. But, when I joined the Boy Scouts, the Cub Scouts, and at that particular time, there wasn't a whole lot of accommodations to do this, and we'll help you with whatever. It was like, all right, you want the swimming merit badge, then you got to earn it and do it and swim it and go. But having the mentors that were along the way and seeing that affirmation, and then that was the chance that I had. Yeah. And while we have great organizations and sports and youth associations that are out there now too, when I come downtown and being a big brother for a number of years, now seeing it through my daughter, seeing that these things are available for any child out there to be a part of, learning how to swim for the very first time, learning how to play baseball for the very first time, and that a city is able to provide that inspires me, because at the end of the day, a very stressful day, someone sends me a picture of their kid doing a jumping jack in the spray park going, thank you, we had an awesome summer. That's inspiring to me. Yeah. And that's what I like to keep going. And then, as I mentioned earlier too, maybe before we even got on here, is doing a lot of this with my daughter as well. Yeah. I'm too lazy to drive the Smoky Mountains, but if I can get her in the kayak and go down the North Chick, or even the South Chick that's got a little bit of rapids, and seeing her have fun and smile, and I'm doing that 5 miles from my house, that means a lot to me. And I'm glad there's a city that can do that, and a city that's working towards doing more and more of that, and more of that access to people out there. So that inspires me. And we've talked a lot about sports here, or a lot about parks, but our sports department, our recreation department, the things that they do, and the softball teams that are coming through, and the tennis tournaments. Last week we had the largest senior pickleball tournament with like over 1,000 players playing. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing to me that little Chattanooga is doing all that stuff, and I love sharing it.
Yeah, that's the main thing I was kind of wanting to touch on.
Hey, buddy. I was going to intro you, but you just jumped in.
Yeah, I'm here.
That was a switch.
I'm here now, boys. The upgrade. No, I'm just kidding. Girl, dad, switch out.
Yeah.
I was actually going to touch on the sports department. Like, how has the motivation from getting things like the Ironman, because it's taken off dramatically. Like, these events that come in now, it has become the scenic city for a lot more people, because we have these crazy events and we finally get to show it off. Like, what kind of inspiration has come for you guys? Because you're like, oh, we get to ramp this thing up because of these events now.
I think probably the big question at the end of the day, once they come through and they leave, is why in the world did they come here? What is it that made Ironman come here? What is it that made the second largest rowing regatta in the world come to Chattanooga instead of going to Nashville or going someplace else? What is it that's making the largest softball tournament ever to come through, and and tennis tournaments and so forth? And so you start asking that question: what makes the people want to come here? And then you realize what all is available, what these kids are wanting to come and do, what Ironman, the diversity of the terrain and the availability and the easy access. And, yes, there's traffic and influx of people that are coming in, but they choose to come to Chattanooga for a reason. And it's, it's more than just parks. It's more than just having a cool place downtown to, lay your boats down and things like that. It's exploring what all is around the town. And it kind of goes back to what I said earlier, and this will be sort of a knock on Nashville. You go in within 30 minutes of Chattanooga, and there's so many things for any athlete or anybody that's touring to come here and do for all ages. History buff, boom, nailed it. You want to go see Rock City, go see it. You want to go rafting. I mean, the list goes on. And the reason why I say Nashville is I had a job offer in Nashville, and I remember standing in front of the rack card there and just kind of looking at all the different things that are available in Nashville. Nashville's a wonderful city if you love music. Mm-hmm. And I like music, but it ain't just my thing. And I come in, I look at the rack cards of Chattanooga, and I'm like, okay, we got music. I can go look at awesome guitars at Soundbirds. I can go see, something that's come into the Signal, and then you just look at all of these different things here. And it's like, man, this little city has just about everything. Doesn't have all the freaking traffic, but it has everything. It's got enough traffic, but it has
some.
Just enough.
Yeah. It has everything. And so I think that's what makes it attractive, is that all the people are coming in. So,
jingle, that was perfect.
Yeah,
just nailed it.
I heard like a ding going on in the
I
background.
did too. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right, Grammys guy, wrap it up.
The camera dead.
No, I just had to wonder on that, because I was like, man, this city it's so wild, because we talk about it all the time, like where we're at on the trajectory of cities and the way people talk about it. And last week, one of my best friends came in. I haven't seen him in 4 years. And he was like, hey, I'm going to come in and train for the Ironman for one day. And they hadn't been here yet. He's coming in, he's doing it next May, and he was like, y'all got this freaking view every time you swim down here? I was like, yep,
Yeah.
that's all you got. You land in Ross's Landing, and you're like, all right, I get to do some cool stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, you name it. I mean, what we have not too long ago, one of the largest, or actually announced, one of the largest bass tournaments that's coming here. And they're going to be all docking up in Dayton and coming down the river. And
That's Ray County, brother.
Yeah.
That's right. He's the best fishing coach in Tennessee right here.
just, I mean, and then, like I said, the big softball tournament here. Now we have a semi-pro softball team that's here. I mean, 2 soccer clubs. It's amazing that's here. And, you know, are we bringing in the massive acts and things that the Atlanta and stuff is doing? No, but it's just within distance as well. But, you know, if anything, we have great festivals here that get too big because we're so popular that they have to move because Chattanooga is such an awesome place.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, GT, hop back in here.
Good questions, Chase. Good questions.
Thank you.
Love it.
What a celebrity shot by Chase Green, y'all.
Well, now that Garrett's back, I've got to bring up. We got to talk a little Mississippi State football. I think we got to do that here
All right.
because they're bringing in a former Baylor quarterback,
That's right.
Blake Shapen.
Oh, Blake Shapen. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love me some Blake Shapen. He can sling that ball. He picked football over baseball. So,
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
Strong arm.
he's been doing well for me on NCAA, 25 on my PS5.
Dude,
There
right?
we go.
Yeah, he's slinging that thing all over the place.
You got to play
So,
Malcolm. I heard Malcolm got the beat down last night.
Man, that was so fraudulent. I just want to let the world know that
Jamari's got you
he
bad.
got me. And
Georgia State, huh?
Georgia State.
What?
We did random, so it's like
Yeah.
click random 3 times and pick between the teams. And San Diego State had something to say last night. That's a program,
man.
brother.
Yeah.
You talk about not being able to stop a pass. I mean,
That, and I mean, well, doesn't Georgia State have like the triple option too? Don't
it didn't triple option last night, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They gave you the only option,
Yeah,
lose.
user error here.
Yeah.
talk about what do you think about Mississippi State this coming year?
You know, I go into every year, we're always sort of picked towards the last, and then we always surprise. You know, and looking forward to seeing, you know, we've got new coaches that have come in. Last year was kind of an experimental year after we lost the great mastermind, Mike Leach. And I knew we were really going somewhere there because we were setting records and people were having a hard time figuring us out with with the offense that he had. So I think now it's a little bit more Shapen can throw the ball, but we're a little bit more traditional, going back to running the ball more this year. We've always been great at running backs. We've had some fantastic running backs. They just didn't have the big A on the side of their helmet to get all the notoriety. So looking forward to that. Middle of the road is probably where we'll be in this first year, of course. And, you know, but the way things are going now and the way things are transferring, the way that we don't have to worry about Nick Saban anymore. I mean, I think overall these programs are just going to get stronger and stronger. And you've seen what's happened with Ole Miss. Ole Miss is great now, you know, and
They're good. I
Lane-
don't know if they're great.
yeah, okay,
They're good.
They're good.
Let's
And-
not hype up your wife's team.
Let's say his wife's probably
Come on.
listening, so hey, let this.
I mean,
man
good
sleep
brownie
in
points,
peace.
but I'm going to step in and just be, realistic here. They're not great. They've been good. They've been
good.
better,
Yeah.
certainly. I mean, I know you love,
Jackson
Lane
Dart
Trey.
is going to be a Heisman Trophy finalist. What are y'all talking about?
No, I mean, he said they have been great. They haven't been great. They haven't made the playoff at all. Like they
true.
find a way to start really good and then they peter out towards the
I'll give you
the
that.
end.
We agree.
What?
We agree
All
today.
right, bro.
Wow.
Let's get it.
Finally.
Let's get it.
Brian, this
That
never
never
happens.
happens.
This never happens.
No,
This
never.
happens.
Damn.
Well, I'll just say we're middle of the road, but I as much as I love Mississippi State, and sorry Georgia fans out there, I've just impressed with what UT has been able to do, what the Vols have been able to do.
Good
This year is going to be pretty interesting. I mean, Georgia's great, Kirby, you beat it. Seen it, done it, move on. But sorry if Georgia fans.
Love it.
But what the Vols are, and I'm going to the Mississippi State and Vols game, and fully expect an outcome there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. But the SEC in general, whether it's Vanderbilt winning all their baseball titles, whether it's Auburn and their swimming, or Tennessee and their swimming, to State and their baseball and everything. I mean, SEC, you can't beat it.
Can we play fact or fiction real quick?
We can try.
All right. So, fact or fiction? And this is going for everybody.
Yeah, this is okay. It's open for him.
Mississippi State has produced currently a top 10 defensive player and a top 10 offensive player.
Fact.
Mhm.
Your offensive player is Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Your defensive player,
Come on, Brian.
come on.
You got it.
You know what this is.
Oh, with Washington.
Montez
Sweat.
Sweat. Oh, with the
Montez
Bears.
Now with the Bears.
Yeah,
With
with
the
the
Bears.
Bears.
He's with the
See,
Bears.
I wasn't even going there. I wasn't even going there.
I wasn't going to put him in. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to hush. Yes. I was going to put him in the top 10, but yes. Okay, good.
I think it's fact. Dak Prescott and Jeffrey Simmons.
Big
Simmons.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jeffrey Simmons.
See, I thought Montez Sweat.
Simmons.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
that's
thinking
good.
too. I was
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
Sweat was on my mind.
Yeah.
I didn't know Big Jeff went there.
Yeah, he was a freak.
Mm.
Single-handedly ruined
Still is.
games
Still
for
is.
folks when he was at Mississippi State. He
Yep.
was a problem.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We got some players that are out there.
Yeah.
So everyone's
Hey,
like,
you
"Oh."
guys, I'm looking at your depth chart here, and you've got a bleep ton of transfers coming in this year.
Yeah.
A lot on the offensive line, a lot in the wide receiving room. Chris Jones? Nice. Yeah.
I mean, that's a bad
that
man,
is a
too.
good
Yeah,
one.
great.
Yeah,
That's
he's
nice.
pretty
Wait,
damn
so
good.
Sweat, Simmons,
And Jones.
and Fletcher Cox also went to Mississippi State.
Wow.
Yeah, good old, yeah. Played Philadelphia for a number of years. I mean, yeah. Oh, there's some talent that's out there
Mm-hmm.
and has been out there too.
They paid.
The
They
best
paid
one-
for it.
Yeah, the best one's the lineman for Seattle for the longest time, Pork Chop. Pork Chop Womack.
Pork chop Womack.
Played for Seattle, the lineman for the longest time, Pork Chop.
Went right over my head.
Yeah. I don't
Look
know.
it up. Look it up. He probably not gonna make a top 10, but he played for quite a while.
What year?
Probably 10 years ago.
Oh, that's
Well,
a
that
pork
does,
chop
He
indeed.
does look like he's had a couple pork chops.
I mean, we got the same hairdo under this hat.
There you go.
See, I'm stupid. I typed in pork chop, like thinking like a slab of meat wouldn't just show up.
Sometimes that's all you need.
I'm up here like pork chop in Seattle. Well, plenty
It's a
of
fish town.
options.
He'd come in, throw that thing on the ground, lineman fight over, and boom, touchdown.
Yeah. Oh shoot!
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh, that's
Did
hilarious.
you really just pull up a picture of a pork
Bro,
chop?
I mean, this is what he said. Look up pork chop in Seattle. I said,
Hey,
listen,
pork chop Womack.
I'm crying.
I didn't catch the Walmart.
Oh, Garrett Tolley,
Listen,
love you.
oh,
So
man.
amazing. All right, let's talk a little bit about the AP Top 25. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to really examine it or not. Tennessee's ranked 15th, Georgia number
Too
1.
Yeah.
Too low?
Tennessee at 15. That's
Tennessee, you think too low?
Yeah.
They
They got one of the hardest schedules too out there, don't they?
Alabama top 5.
Shocks me. That's a brand pick in my opinion, but
Yeah,
You know, that's
Mhm.
you know, that's like some of the teams that are already there, that are already built, and you don't really have to do a whole lot the following year. So maybe, but
You know, death, taxes, and Notre Dame being a preseason top 10. Always happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ole Miss right up there, number 6.
Always happens. Well, they have a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I think that's too high.
I mean,
Yeah, see?
I'm great
I'm with
with,
you.
Ole Miss above UT. I don't
No
see
way.
that.
No shot.
I don't see Michigan.
Michigan's another one, man.
How is Clemson ahead of Tennessee? Let's be real about that.
I mean, Clemson's not a good football program in my
Anymore.
eyes.
Yeah, they went down the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they doing this year?
Florida State, what, they lose their head? They lose their head? Is Mike Norvell still? He's still there? Okay, they lost Jordan Travis, and that's going to be tough. They've got a good squad there, though. They're number 10. Missouri, number 11. I
That's-
heard you talking about Missouri. You just hate Missouri,
I
huh?
cannot stand Missouri.
Eli
Cannot
Drinkowitz.
stand him. Can't stand him. Not a fan at all.
I met Eli Drinkowitz. I interviewed him when he was at App
Really?
State
Really?
at Sunbelt Media Day.
He just always finds big moments to really like. He's a great coach. It's just
He's a good coach. Let's not, again,
No,
easy with the greatness.
no. There's legendary. There's great. There's good. There's okay.
he's
There's
good.
mediocre.
Do we think Tennessee's right with the 15th?
I
No,
do.
I think they should be a little higher.
No, I think I would switch Missouri and Tennessee.
Missouri
gave us
Tennessee?
the beatdown last year. I might put them at like 12 with Utah.
When I look in the top 14, the teams that I know Tennessee could beat, if you go by 14 is Clemson. You can beat Clemson. You can beat LSU. You can beat Utah. Mizzou, I'm going to say no.
You don't think
Florida's-
they could beat Missouri?
No.
You don't think so?
Well, after last year's game, I'm just
Ah,
not like that's what I'm
It's year
taking
to
it
year.
for.
This is a much better team than last year.
Florida State, maybe. Michigan, maybe. Penn State, yes. Notre Dame, yes. Ole Miss, yes. Alabama, yes. Texas, no. Oregon, no. Ohio State, no. Georgia, no.
But like the Missouri game, wasn't that was pretty much a big anomaly last year. Like
They looked
Tennessee just
Yeah, it was bad.
They looked horrible.
yeah. It's kind of like a fluke.
Welcome to the conversation, Joseph
Whoa.
Guthrie, to the
I
table.
I mean, what a just
The college football guru himself. He had,
change of
There we go.
he had to get into with the college football talk.
Listen, man. You Clemson's not a good program,
bro. What?
They've gone down,
Brother.
They're a good program, but they're
Brother.
going
No,
down. They're on
they
the
are-
downward slide a
they
little
are
bit.
an elite program.
Bro,
They
Trevor
are
Lawrence
on-
ain't coming
they
through
are-
that door.
They were an elite
They are
program.
on the downward slide because Dabo refuses to play the transfer portal game.
Yes,
They are still there.
but
you
Tennessee's
give 'em-
better
give
than
'em-
them.
This year,
Yes.
No, I'm saying like in the next 4 years, if I had a son who's a senior, are you going to Tennessee or Clemson? We're not even visiting Clemson. You're going to Tennessee. I'm not even going to take a visit to
That's a
Dabo.
little VFL.
Not, literally, if it was between
Bias
Georgia
there,
and
but-
Clemson, we're not taking a visit to Clemson.
if it's between Georgia and Clemson, that's different.
Literally, if it's between
I mean, I'd rather be at Tennessee than Clemson, anyways.
between
position are you
USC,
playing?
let's just say quarterback.
If you're on the D line, you're going to Tennessee over Clemson.
Yes.
If you're a quarterback, I'll give you that.
No, if
You
I'm
go play
going,
with
I'm
Heupel.
going to be coached by Rodney Gardner, one of the best coaches in the game. Come on, man. Sorry to get, heated, Brian.
Oh, no,
It's
no,
about
no.
you, brother.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm enjoying this too.
Well, I'm enjoying it too.
Like I said, we talked about my school earlier. I don't have a dog in the fight right now,
Listen.
but nevertheless,
Are you really going to take your son to Clemson? Why?
Yeah, why not take my son to Clemson?
Why?
They got 2 natties in the past 10 years.
true.
Who else has done that?
Man,
Alabama,
Saban, Georgia.
Kirby.
There's a short list.
Dabo
That's a
is,
real short list.
Dabo is done, bro.
Dabo's not done.
Dabo is done,
Dabo's
bro.
not done.
He's done.
He's on the way down, but he ain't done.
Listen, when I tell you, whenever I saw a quote on Twitter, he was like, we don't need name, image, and likeness because we live within God's name,
And
image, and
oh,
likeness. That's when I knew it was done.
I fully understand all of the cringy Dabo takes. I've heard them all. But I'm not gonna sell him out yet. You beat Saban twice in 4 years, man. You got leeway.
When that was a little while ago, right? That was a couple years back.
2016 and 2018.
That's a long time ago at this
Who
point.
else has done it?
But that's a long time ago at this point.
It is. It's been a minute. I'll give you
That's-
that. I'll give you that.
It's
But
kind of the past. What have you done for me lately? Dabo hasn't done it.
you gonna sell him up the river that quick?
I'm just saying, like, they're not an elite program right now. Like, they're on the way down. Tennessee's on the way up. And to your point, I would choose Tennessee over Clemson right now
That's fair.
If you were
100%.
sending your son
for the next 4 to
for the next
5
4 to 5 years,
years. I'm
No
going
question.
to Tennessee for sure.
It's one thing to say you wouldn't send them, but to not even visit.
no, we're not visiting.
Yeah,
That's
I'd rather
cool.
go to Tennessee.
That sounds a little biased.
If I have that option.
As I read up on this too, so your September 21st game, so not too far into the season. Your biggest foe, NC State, North Carolina State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Dave Doran.
They said this.
Beat
That's
y'all
when you
twice
lose.
in the last 3 years.
That's when you lose to NC State.
Yep, and then Florida State right after that. Now Tennessee's got them too. So
Listen, NC State, they said this back in 2012 when I was a young lad at the University of Tennessee. And they said, be careful, David Amerson. He's so fast. And you know what happened? Mr. Cordero Patterson had 150 and 2 tutties. And we routed them in my first game in Atlanta. All right? I'm not scared of NC State. NC State should be scared of me.
Talk that talk, Biggie.
Come on.
Say it with your chest.
Come on.
It's just funny. It's just going through all the stuff with Clemson here and reading through it, and it's like their biggest foe will become on September the 21st with NC State. I'm like,
They play Florida State.
what?
It's a bigger
Yeah, it's like
foe
2.
than
Yeah, it's
Clemson.
like,
Yeah.
and then 2 weeks later, we'll see how well they hold up against Florida State. I'm like, wow, okay.
I mean, if we're talking about Clemson's biggest foe,
Like, y'all are going to smash them in the opening.
I mean,
we'll get to that. We'll do the preview. We'll cover the game. There's a
Y'all are
reason
going to
it's at
smash
noon.
them.
There's a reason it's at noon. I don't know how Clemson's going to score, man. Like,
No Will Shipley. I know you still got the young
you got Phil
quarterback.
Maffa.
Who?
Phil Maffa.
Who?
He was better
Exactly.
than Will Shipley.
Exactly.
Y'all ain't ready for that conversation.
I don't
but
know.
Phil Maffa's better than
You
Will
probably
Shipley.
know. You know better than I do. I don't know.
I mean, you know ball.
Yeah.
Phil Maffa's better than Will Shipley, dog.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll take your word on that one.
No, I mean they don't have any help on the outside though. Who's Clemson added that makes you scared of them? Like if you box up, if you load the box and you keep Phil Maffa from running the ball. What have they done? How are they going to beat you deep? They got one receiver?
I just don't fear Clemson like I used to.
I get that. Now, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
That's an argument I'm fully understanding.
Yeah.
But the program talk is where you
know,
lost me a little bit.
Listen.
Yeah, they literally don't bring any transfers in.
Literally
none.
It's
They don't-
against the.
To this point, they do not.
Yeah, literally
They do
not.
You know a lot about Clemson.
Joseph knows a lot about college football in general. He's a smart man.
So
He's a smart man.
do you have them squeaking by game one?
Clemson?
Yeah.
No. No.
So one of the biggest Georgia fans you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
No. All bias aside. No,
Okay.
I can talk about Georgia objectively. I don't know how. It reminds me very much of how the Duke's Mayo opening game went.
Yeah.
They seem very similar in those matchups. Clemson's just worse on the outside now, and Georgia's about the same. So, do I think Georgia's going to roll? No. I think Clemson's defense is way too good, and it's the first game of the year. So you got to get those jitters out. But I don't.
Clemson's got a great defense. They've
their
had
defense is going to be
stellar defense. What, number one? It was a couple years ago.
Their
number
defense will
one?
carry them for
Yeah.
like 8 or 9 wins probably. But I mean, if they were 6 or 7 games deep in the season playing Georgia, and these freshman receivers that they've raved about in camp had time, you can sell me on that. Opening game.
No. I don't care if it's the first game,
gonna
the
be rough.
last
Fair
game,
enough.
the fourth game, the seventh game. They're not beating Georgia.
I wouldn't take them to beat Georgia.
Yeah,
Exactly.
How
No
long
way.
is Georgia's run going to last?
As long as Kirby's there. As long as Kirby's there.
I don't know, man. I mean, people said the same thing about Saban, and he finally went a full 4 years without a title. So you never know, man. The sport evolves. You got to evolve with it.
Yeah.
It will leave you behind.
Nico will be ready.
That's right.
There you go.
And all those wide receivers.
We'll be ready.
Well, now then, of course, we have so many more teams in the SEC now. Where they're
Yeah.
just now we're all beating up each other too. So
No.
yeah.
I'm hyping myself up. This is the Georgia Invitational this year. They are something else. There's something else down there. The only thing that's going to stop Georgia is
Whoa.
traffic laws.
That's done a damn good job.
wow.
That's a fact.
41% graduation rate.
Ew.
Of their teachers.
Done a damn good job so far, Athens PD.
Now, transitioning to the NFL, because you said that you're an avid Bears fan.
All my life, yeah.
What is the expectation that you have for your Bears for this upcoming season?
Gosh, put the hard ones on me. Caleb, it's that once in a lifetime quarterbacks that you draft here. The amount of pressure that's put on him, but I think Justin had great weapons last year. I think DJ Moore obviously showed up and became the 1,500 yards last year as well. Running backs, Herbert was all right, but you can't rely on a 120-pound quarterback or 120-pound running back everywhere. So he's got the weapons that are in place. Will that go to his head when he makes mistakes? Because it's inevitable. They're going to change schemes on him. They're going to adjust things at halftime. He's going to come back out and make a mistake, and the city of Chicago is going to tear him up for that, because it's going to be, you have all the weapons that are around you. But in reverse to that, I look at something like, I'll go Mississippi State route here, a Dak Prescott, when Romo gets hurt, and they're like, all right, throw this rookie in with all these great weapons around him as well, and ran a good, balanced offense and just didn't make very big mistakes. You look at that year, and they made the playoffs. They didn't go very far with it, but could Caleb come in and just make good, sound decisions, rely on the new running backs that we have, rely on the experience that of his wide receivers have. Our line's pretty good. Our defense is not great. It's not the monsters in the midway like they used to be.
Well, not quite that, but I think their
Sweat's
defense.
good, yes.
Yeah, the defense is very. I like Montez Sweat. Obviously, that was a great trade to bring him in. DeMarcus Walker, Tennessee knows about him. T.J. Edwards is a nice add there. Tremaine Edmonds from Buffalo.
Yeah, Edmonds is a good one. Yeah.
I like Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson in the secondary is really good. You got Kevin Byard. I don't know if he's got anything left in the tank, but it's a big name in the secondary there. They're trying. They got hurt last year, so we'll step them up. So that's good. So, but I'm optimistic this year. I am. It's good because to hear quarterback talk in Chicago, that's tough, because we've had, I don't know what the number is, but it's like 54 quarterbacks in
the last 10 years that started there and it's absolutely amazing. But to hear the positive, to hear that there's someone that's coming in that could possibly change the game and give us finally the Brett Favres or the Aaron Rodgers or, the Peytons that are out there, that's someone that you can trust in and out. So, but the amount of pressure that's put on that kid to do that, I don't know.
But they've done it right.
He's going to live up to it, though.
They've done it right. I mean, they put weapons around him, like as you mentioned, like with Dak. And Caleb's a more talented quarterback coming out of college than I think Dak was.
Oh, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. So, and you put these weapons around him like DJ Moore and Roman Dunze and Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift. I think they're setting him up for success. The offensive line has improved. So 2 questions for you, for me, to because I know we got to wrap it up here. But 1, what do you think of Matt Eberflus as a head coach? And 2, where do you think they finish this year, making the playoffs, finishing the NFC North?
Detroit's gonna be tough again this year, so it's amazing that I'm saying that they're gonna. I think they will look good, and Matt's been great. I think he's come in, he's done well. I'm enjoying learning more about him in Hard Knocks. That's with that not being on Max now. Looking forward to the more weeks of that coming up. So just with the coaches and things that come in, just wanting someone to establish a good program and stay around for a while. I think we're too quick nowadays to just get rid of the coach because we didn't do good for the first couple of years. And that's hard because there's coaches that, it's up and down. You're going to have a couple of bad years. So, but I'm looking forward to what he has to do. This year.
What's the record? Where they finish?
Could be Detroit. Got to see what Minnesota does with their switching around the quarterback. So I would have put him ahead of Green Bay no matter what. Sorry.
That's the funniest joke I've heard all night.
My guy.
Yeah, but let's say he just got some brownie points.
Yikes.
So they make the playoffs as the wild card.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that. They're gonna
10-7.
I don't know if they'll win 10 games.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're gonna make a wild card spot.
I was gonna say 8.
They're gonna finish 3rd in their division.
Then we'll stick with it.
Okay. Hey, let's get it. Hey, let's find out.
Love
it's
it.
on the tapes.
Yeah.
Ryan,
I'll come back with a playoff start and you'll be like, wow, that Caleb kid's pretty good. Wow. Wish my Green Bay Packers had something like that.
I ain't gonna hold my breath. It's been a very long time. Actually, never since y'all have had a 4,000-yard passer. So I mean, we breed him out there in Green Bay. So I'm sorry for you.
Wait till you see this year.
Yeah, Jordan Love just got paid. He looks amazing.
We're going to bring you back.
I can't wait.
Yes, do it. I don't care. I'll eat my words if they're wrong. I don't care. I'll be here. But yeah, Brian, really appreciate it. And before we go, I'll let you close, Garrett, but just follow us all over social media at Chatt It Up Sports, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, at Chatt It Up, like all that stuff. Follow us wherever you get your podcast. 5 stars, nothing less. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Amen.
Amen.
And thank you, Brian. Everybody, let's give him 3 craps one time.
3 craps.
3 craps, 3 claps. It's late. We want to thank you for coming.
This was fun. I appreciate y'all coming on.
And the best way to get in touch with you or to find you, where we...
So all thing parks, Chattanooga.gov/parks, all the schedules, everything that's on there as well. And again, continue to follow us on social media as well. All the same things that he just said as well. But just do a search for Chattanooga Parks and Outdoors and, stay in the know. The best thing to do is just get out and see what we have available.
Yeah.
Love it.
Brian. Appreciate it, Brian.
Yeah, appreciate it as well.
Go Paco.
Peace.